Welcome back to Winni Recap. Today I'm going to explain a movie called Never Gone, which came out in 2016. It's a romance drama movie. The movie has an audience score of 5.2 out of 10 on IMDb, which is not that immersive. The film is about a couple which reunites when they move into the same neighborhood after living apart for a few years. But before we begin, beware of spoilers, watch out and take care, and I hope you enjoy the video. The film opens with a girl named Soo Yoon-jin, who narrates that it is the year 2007 and her father is very sick. Soo-jin's family is not financially stable, but just like every other parent, her parents want her to go to a very good high school so that she educates herself, takes a high-paying job, and never has to face poverty. This is why her parents use all of their savings and send Soo-jin to a big high school. She goes inside the big high school for the first time and she meets a boy named Cheng Zheng. Cheng belongs to a prosperous family. He comes to the school on a bike and he accidentally gets Soo-jin wet. He runs the bike over a pipe which breaks, resulting in Soo-jin getting wet. Inside, she meets a nice girl named Mo. Mo looks at Soo-jin and understands that she is new here. Mo tells Soo-jin that she can come to her with any of her problems. Then we are introduced to three more of her friends named Mia, James, and Steven. Then in math class, Soo-jin sits right in front of Cheng. They had a test and Soo-jin got low grades in her test. When the period is over, Soo-jin tries to go outside when Cheng blocks her way and starts to irritate her. He takes her book in doing so and Soo-jin leaves without it, which makes him feel somewhat guilty. On the next day, Cheng tries to return her the book, but she refuses and ignores him. She even puts her chair on her foot, which hurts him. She does not listen to her, but he requests her to take a look inside the book and just see. She finally takes the book and discovers that Chen has corrected every mistake that she made, and this was his way of saying that he was sorry for what he did. After some time, James comes and tells Soo-jin that Cheng's foot is hurt badly, and he needs to go to a doctor. But the real question raised by James is who will pay for the doctor. Listening to this, Soo-jin gives her ATM card to Cheng, but Cheng uses all of her money and gives the entire class a party. When he spends all of her money, Mo comes and reveals that this was Soo-jin's entire month's expenditure. Cheng feels very guilty for doing such a thing, so puts all the money back in her credit card and returns it in the subsequent period. Then after a baseball match, Soo-jin comes and returns Cheng the extra money that he had put in her bank account. After that, Soo-jin stands alone on the rooftop of a school when Cheng comes and asks her if she would like to get an extra math class from him. She refuses, but Cheng tells her that it would benefit her when she remembers her parents who struggled to get her here. She agreed and she wanted to get good grades. They agreed to meet on the rooftop every time after school. They started to develop a friendship as they studied on the rooftop every day after school. After some days, Soo-jin gets 85 marks on a math exam and she's very happy with her improvement. After the class, Soo-jin meets Cheng and tells her that she has a family problem due to which she has to leave for a few days. A few days pass by, but Soo-jin does not come back, as her seat remains empty. Mo comes and sits on her place and upon asking Mo, tells Cheng that Soo-jin is back and she's living in a hostel. After hearing this, Cheng immediately goes to Soo-jin's room to check on her and see if she's okay. Soo-jin opens the door, but she looks very disheartened and frail. Cheng asks her about why she's trying to push him away, but she remains silent. Cheng insists that she tell him a valid reason and he will leave her alone. She reveals that her father, who was very ill, just passed away. She starts to run in the ground while crying as Cheng chases her. After a while, Cheng stops and feels best to leave her alone and give her some time. After a very long time, their high school studies are over and it is their farewell party. Mia goes to Soo-jin and tells her that since she stopped talking to Cheng, she started acting very dull, like she was never lighthearted. Cheng promises that he will never bother Soo-jin again, but he breaks the promise tonight and asks her if she wants to dance with him. Meanwhile, it's revealed that Mo always likes James and she never found the courage to say anything, but today she asked him to dance with her. James and Mo and Soo-jin and Cheng are dancing when the lights go out, resulting in Mo and James kissing and Soo-jin and Cheng hugging. When the lights come back, Soo-jin breaks the hug and immediately leaves. Cheng follows Soo-jin outside and confesses his love for her. He keeps telling her about how much he loves her, hoping for a suitable reply, but she keeps quiet and does not talk. She directly approaches him with a kiss. Cheng thinks that this was a yes and he's left smiling, but Sujin leaves crying. Her true intentions were that she would leave and never talk to Cheng ever again. After another very long time gap, it is the year 2009, and Sujin has joined college where she is friends with a boy named Guan. Guan was a very good friend of hers and he took care of her. One day Mo comes and asks Sujin that Guan cares about Sujin so much that he might be in love with her. Before Sujin could answer, she hears someone calling her name. When she goes closer, she sees that it is none other than Chen. She tries to leave, but Cheng does not leave her as Guan also comes along. Guan introduces him as her boyfriend and Cheng also introduces himself as her boyfriend. Sujin tells them both to stop and clarifies that both of them are not her boyfriend. After some time, Cheng's sister comes along and she makes an excuse to take Guan away so that Sujin and Cheng are left alone. Cheng forcefully kisses her and Guan sees this from a distance. They go to a temple and write what they want in a book. Sujin tries to look at what Cheng wrote, but he does not let her. Then later at night, all three of them are having dinner at a hotel. She feels very puzzled as to what she should do in this kind of situation. Cheng asks her again and again to drink, and she finally does. She drinks a little too much and loses consciousness, and in a state of being unconscious, she keeps saying Cheng's name. On the subsequent day, she goes to college when she discovers that Guan is not talking to her anymore. Guan tells her that she is still in love with Cheng. Sujin gets a little fumed and she goes straight to Cheng's hotel room. She asks him about why he would not just leave her alone. Cheng tells her that he will get out of her life and never come back if she can tell why she, 2 years prior, kissed him and left instead of just rejecting him. She does not have an answer and he tells her that he should not have waited for her and both of them part ways. After some more, Guan graduated from college but Sunjin has no contact with him whatsoever. Mo studies medicine and takes care of James who was injured. Sunjin decides to go back to her hometown where she meets her mother and uncle. Her uncle delivers the terrible news of her aunt passing away. Then Sujin goes out for a walk with her mother when she sees Cheng. Cheng comes back to her home where they talk. Sujin was making a doll when Cheng offered to help. Sujin refuses and goes away after some time. Cheng stays up the entire night and builds dolls. She comes home at night and sees that he is building dolls for her and she is moved by this gesture. In the morning, Sujin sees that his hand is bruised from making dolls all night. Cheng asks her to stay with him after graduation. He tells her that she can do whatever she wants, but just be with him, and she accepts. Then Sujin tries to get a job in the same city as Cheng, but she gets a job in another city. She tells this news to Cheng and he gets very upset on the phone. Sujin decides to go on a train to meet her when she gets a call from Cheng and he tells her that he's on a train and on his way to meet her. They finally both meet at the station and hug each other. Afterwards, they stay in a hotel room. Meanwhile, James breaks up with Mo as he says that his family has decided that he will marry someone else and he cannot deny his family. Mo tells Sujin that she is going away to complete her studies and both of them hug goodbye. Sujin and Chen went to a party which was thrown by Cheng's sister. Cheng's sister reveals that she is in love with Guan and both of them are going to get married. Cheng asks her sister if she really wants to marry Guan and if Guan really loves her or is simply after her money. She says that she is sure that she wants to marry him. Guan tells Sunjin that his true intention that he is only marrying Cheng's sister for her money. While coming out of the party, Sujin then asks Cheng if he will marry her, and he says that he will never leave her. Then the next morning, Sujin's uncle comes and says that he took some loan from a factory he works in, and he needs some money in order to return the loan. She calls someone and gets the money for the loan. Cheng comes home and tells her that he heard about his uncle and gives her the money to give his uncle. She says that she already had the money and upon asking, she reveals that she took the money from Guan. Cheng gets very angry at the fact that she would rather take money from Guan than take money from her boyfriend. He goes to Guan, returns his money and leaves angrily, then goes to a bar and drinks with his friends. He comes home and Sujin gives her a piece of paper which has all the records of how much money she owes him. He gets very furious, and both of them start to fight, leading them to eventually break up, as both of them reach a conclusion that they are different people. After 2 years, Sunjin somehow finds the book in which they wrote what they wanted. She sees that Chen wrote that her name. Another year passes, and she tries to find Cheng. She goes to an address and sees Cheng. Here the movie ends with an abridged ending. Both of them get back together and live happily ever after. Here the extended cut of the movie ends with a happy ending. To watch more explanations of these kind of movies, click on the videos on your screen, and don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. Kindly like the video and subscribe to my channel, and press the bell icon so you don't miss any new videos. And at last I will say, stay safe, stay well, thanks for watching.